press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello all, how are you? I hope that all are doing good. Today I am here with you with lessons grammar. So what is this lessons grammar? These are the grammar which is based on the lessons, okay? Through the lessons, and we are going to understand some other grammar which is also important, okay? And which is also important for your exam purpose and for learning language purpose, okay? So let's say with the mains of the lessons. So before this you are having some question and answers. So with the question and answers you should understand the questions and then try to write answers by your own words, but write down with quality answers, okay? So which one you understand it, so that one is right actually, but you should have to write according to the lessons, okay? You should not whatever the words you understood, so that one you should write it, okay? So that is about the question and answer. And let's see about the grammar here. Thinking about language. Here, so there is an activity has given in this grammar. This text is written and in an old fashioned style, for it reports an incident more than 2 millennia old, okay? So this text means the lesson which is based on the life of Buddha's life, okay? So which written in a old fashioned style, okay? And when the incident is reporting us, so all the incidents which was happened thousand years back, okay? So these are the incident was happened 1000 years back, okay? That is ago. And in the current language, means the current English language, we are not using those words which is used in this lesson, okay? And now we are going to try to find out that old fashioned words, and we are going to understand what is the meaning and what kind of words we are using in nowadays English language, okay? So when we are using the current language, so what kind of words we are using instead of those words, okay? So let's see here. Look for the following words and phrases in the text and try to rephrase them in more current language based on how you understand them, okay? So this is, let's see here. We will find out which are those words in that lessons. So here there are some words are given, and we will try to find out the meaning of those words. So let's hear what are those words are there. Okay, the first is give tea medicine for thy child, okay? So what is the new word it is? So tea, thigh, okay? Tea, thigh. Tea means it means you, thigh means yours. Okay, sorry, it's a your. Instead of using tea, so in current English language we are using you, okay, not tea. And instead of using thigh, we are using your. So what will be the sentence here? That is, give your medicine for your child. This is the meaning of this phrase, okay? So this is, next is pray tell me. So the next phrase is pray tell me. Pray tell me. It means please tell me. Please tell me. This is the meaning of this phrase, okay? Please tell me. So that, when the ages are going on, so the verse is also changing according to the needs and situation of the current usage. That is also changing. So that's why we are not using this tea, thigh and pray, okay? So like that you should have to find out the other phrases, so which is given here, that is kisa repaired to the Buddha. So which one is the old word here? That is repaired. We are not using repaired. Instead of using repaired, we are using some other new word. So what is that one? You should have to find out. Then there was no house, but someone had died in it, okay? So here there was no house. What this means? So you should have to find, there was no house, but someone had died in it. Then kinsman. So what is the meaning of kinsman? That mark. So you should have to find out. Yeah, I hope that you are getting that answer exactly, but you should have to try it. Okay, this is. Okay, now let's move to the next domain, that is, you know that we can combine sentences using words like and, or, but, yet and then. Okay, so when we are combining the two sentences, okay, but it gives the same information. The information should be different, but it is related to only one topic. Okay, but what we have to use here, we use conjunction. Okay, conjunction words, that is and, or, but, yet and then. Okay, so these words we are using. Instead of using these words, we have some other thing to use. So what it is? But sometimes no such word seems appropriate. In such a case, we can use semicolon or dash to combine two clauses. Clauses means sentences. So instead of using these words, in some cases, we can also use semicolon and dash. Okay, that is also need in English language. Okay, so this is, instead of using, let's see here, how we are going to identify that this is more important than the using of conjunction words. So let's see here. Okay, so what are the words? Instead of using and, but, yet, or, then. Okay, instead of these, we are using semicolon and dash. So here the sentence is, she has no interest. She has no interest in music. In music. Okay. I doubt she will become a singer like her mother. Okay, so these are the sentences. So here, let's say this, she has no interest in music. This is a one statement, this is a one sentence. The next sentence is, I doubt she will become a singer like her mother. So let's see about the meaning of these sentences. Okay, so here, when we use this semicolon, okay, now this sentence, it becomes first clause, means first sentence, and the second sentence is this statement. After the semicolon, what the statement we will get, what the sentence we will get, so that it becomes a second clause. Second clause. Okay, and now this second clause is now the speaker is giving a opinion of first clause. Okay, first clause. So speaker is giving opinion of first clause. This is the second clause. Here is the opinion. So second clause is the opinion. The second sentence is the opinion of speaker to the first clause. Okay. So here is the fact. She has no interest in music. It is a fact. So what is the opinion of the speaker? So this is the opinion. I doubt she will become a singer like her mother. This is the opinion of a speaker. So now the second clause becomes the opinion of a first clause. Okay. This second clause, once again I am repeating this. This second clause means the second sentence is the opinion of a first clause. So whose opinion? Speaker's opinion. The speaker who is giving an opinion to the girl. Okay. So this called as a clause. And then we are using this semicolon here. Okay. So this is, and now this sentence is important. We concentrate in this opinion. Okay, because it gives the opinion to the first clause. So let's see with the other examples. Okay, here is sentence from the text that uses semicolons to combine clauses. Break up the sentences into 3 simple sentences. Can you then say which has better rhythm when you read it? Okay, so here we will get some sentences, and we should have to make the sentence in a 3 sentences. Okay, then so we should identify that which sentence is giving us complete rhythm. Okay, means better rhythm. Better rhythm means, so when we speak, so our voice is also changing its notes, means tone. Okay, because of the emotions, because there is a feelings and also expressions is also present in the sentences. So according to that it is also changing. So when we use the semicolons or a dash, so we should have to change our tonal voice. So when we say that, okay, so that is called rhythm. Better rhythm. When you read it, the single sentence using semicolons or 3 simple sentences. So the single sentence which is present there, so there we should use the semicolons, or 3 simple sentences we should have to use it here. Okay, so let's see the sentence. Okay, so here for there is not any means by which those who have been born can avoid dying. So can avoid dying. So here is the semicolon. The next sentence is, after reaching old age, there is a death. There is death. Okay. The next is, of such a nature are living beings. Of such a nature are living beings. Okay, so this is, so what this is sentence. So once again I am reading it. For there is not any means by which those who have been born can avoid dying. After reaching old age, there is death. Of such a nature are living beings. Okay, so this is here, death is permanent. So there is no other living beings which can escape, which is they should be far away from the death. So all the living things, it should be that is fixed. The death is fixed for all living beings. Okay, so this is, and now when we use semicolons for this, so which sentence gives us a better rhythm? Okay, so which one? According to me, so which is giving a better rhythm? That is, after reaching old age, there is a death. Okay, so after reaching, so that is second clause is the opinion of this. For there is not any means by which those who have been born can avoid dying. Okay, so who has born? So they should not avoid dying. So why the dying is permanent? Because after reaching old age, there is a death. Okay, so when the person born, okay, when he was born, so he has not understood that there is a death, but actually when the days goes on, when it is reached to the death, means to the old age, so after the old age there is a death. Okay, so this is, of such a nature are living beings. So this is the nature rule. So which are the living beings are present in the world, so that is the nature rule. Okay, so they have to achieve old age, they have to reach to the old age, then after that there is a death. Okay, so this is the sentence. So according to me, so this means after reaching old age there is a death. This gives a better rhythm. Okay, So means it gives the opinion to the whole statement. Okay, so death is fixed when they reach to the old age. So this is. Next is, it's about a speaking. I will just tell you what kind of a speaking it is. Here, the Buddha's sermon is over 2005 years old. Given below are two recent texts on the topic of grief. Read the text comparing them with each other and with the Buddha's sermon. Do you think the Buddha's ideas and way of teaching continue to hold meaning for us? Or we have found better ways to deal with grief? Discuss this in the group or in the class. Okay, grief means sad. So when what the Buddha's teachings and ideas he has given to the public, means to the people. So it was written in the olden days, is it? So what do you think? So we will get any other alternative things instead of be a grief, instead of being a sad, we will get some other alternatives. So let's see that what is the grief here? Feelings of grief. Although grief is a unique and personal, a broad range of feelings and behaviors are commonly experienced after the death of a loved one. Okay, so grief is called as a unique and personal. Grief means sadness, is it? So that is a unique. It is one of the unique quality, and it is a personal. So it is changing from one person to another person, but they have to suffer the pain. Okay. A broad range of feelings and behaviors are commonly experienced after the death of a loved one. So the common behavior in public, means in the people, among the people, we can say that the people means the people when they feel pain, when there will be the death in their home. Okay, so who they call their loved one. So they are loved too much. Either they may be the father, mother, brother, sisters, son, daughter, husband, wife, whoever they are, the grandparents, the granddaughters. Okay, if they dies, so the person is in a grief, is in a pain. Okay, you may call it as a sad. So let's see, the grief, it gives a different meaning. So what it is? Sadness. This is the most common, and it is not necessarily manifested by crying. Sadness means it is a common in the people, common in among the people, but it is not sadness. It is not we just not conveying through the crying. Okay, sometimes we feel sad because of some incidents, because of the negative thoughts, and we can't cry. Okay, so crying is different, but it is a sadness. Then anger. So grief is in the grief there is another unique quality we will see, that is the anger. This is one of the most confusing feelings for a survivor. There may be frustration at not being able to prevent the death, and sense of not being able to exist without a loved one. Anger. So when they lose, means a person has lost their loved one, they shows the anger of death, anger towards the death, and they feel anger about they have lost their loved one. Okay, guilt or self-reproach. Guilt. People may believe that they were not kind enough or caring enough to the person who died, or that the person should have seen the doctor sooner. Okay, guilt means the person who has died already, means he was died, and the person who is living, who has lived, so that person has in a grief. Okay, means guilt. So why not I come to that exact time? Why don't I be with that person at the last stage of death? So always they are blaming themselves. That is called as a guilt. Anxiety. An individual may fear that she or he won't be able to care for herself or himself. Anxiety means a person or an individual feels a fear about, so that person is not going to be care of somebody else. Okay. Then loneliness. There are reminders throughout the day that a partner, family member or a friend is gone. Okay. So friend, so in among your family, if person has gone, when you feel that person is means they are the friend or they are a mother or father, so you feel alone. Okay, so that is called loneliness. So then when you feel alone in this world, so that is called loneliness. For example, meals are longer prepared same way, phone calls to share a special moment don't happen. Fatigue, there is an overall sense of feeling tired. Fatigue means it's a tiredness. Disbelief, this occurs particularly, it was a sudden death. Means when we heard the news of somebody has suddenly death, they have caused death suddenly, so we are disbelieving, we are in a shock, is it? So this is about the lesson Sermon at Banaras. Let's move to the lesson called the proposal. Okay, so let's see what kind of a grammar is present in this lesson. Okay. The proposal. Okay, so here, so take your textbook and then you open the page number 157. Thinking about a language, okay. This play has been translated into English from Russian original. Okay, so actually this play, the proposal, it is a play, it is in the form of play. Actually the original script of this play, it was written in Russian language. Okay, it is not related to English language. Okay, basically it belongs to the Russian language. Are there any expressions or ways of speaking that strike you as more Russian than English? So when the characters are expressing their views, expressing their dialogues, so is there any differences between when English, how they are using in English language and how there are those words are used in Russian language? So do you feel any differences? So this is, and for example, would an adult man be addressed by an older man as my darling or my treasure in an English play? So you know Chibukov, he was mentioned to the Lumov, my darling. He was an old adult man. Okay, he is an adult man. So he is mentioned him that my darling and my treasure. So do you feel that these words are used in English language, English play? Okay, so this is, okay, so what it is, my darling and my treasure. So these are the words which is used in this Russian play, but actually these words are used in English play or not? Let's check out. Read through the play carefully and find expressions that you think are not used in contemporary English and contrast these with idiomatic modern English expressions that also occur in the play. Okay, so here when we read the whole play, so we will get some of the sentences which they have used the expressions, and some of the expressions which is used in Russian way of style of speaking, and some are it is used in a English way of style of speaking. Okay, so this is, so let's see that. Okay, so here the expressions not which is not used in contemporary English are my angel. Okay, so in English, so which are the words which is not used in English, contemporary English? So that is my angel, my beloved, my beloved, my beauty, my beauty. Okay, here these expressions are used for an adult man. Okay, but here these are the expressions, we may call these are not a words, these are the expression, okay, which is used for a adult man, but in English it is not using in English play. So these words are not using for an adult man. Okay, so this is the answer for this. Now, let's see, look up the following words in dictionary and find out how to pronounce them. Pay attention to how many syllables there are in each word and find out which syllable is stressed or said for more forcefully. Okay. So here there are some words are given. The words like palpitation. So we should have to find out syllables. Syllables, sounds. Okay. So how many sounds are used here? You know, the sounds are means where the vowel sound is produced. Okay. So that is called syllables. Okay. So here first is palpitation. So when we look into the this word, here there are some syllables. Now we find out the syllables here. Pal. When we split it, pal. Tation. Okay. Tation. Sha. It will be the sha sound. Okay. Palpitations. So we not count this sha sound because it is not a vowel sound. So what we counted here? Palpitation means pa, e and a. Patience, a. Okay. A sound. A, e and a again. So how many syllables we will get here? So here we will get 3 syllables. Okay. So how many syllables? Palpitations. So here we are stressing more. Okay. So where is the a sound and e sound is there. So there we are stressed more. Okay. The next is pedigree. Pedigree. Okay. So first is this one. Pedigree. A, E and again E. Okay. A, E and E. So here also we will get 3 syllables. 3 syllables. Pedigree. This is. And next is interfere. 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 In. E sound. It has begin with E. Inter. Again interfere. Interfere. 3 syllables. In 3 syllables. So another one is implore. Implore. E. Okay. So the first sound which is begin with E, then plore or O sound, O sound. Okay, it is a O sound, not O, it's a O sound. Implore. So here is 2 syllables. So like this, the rest of the words you should have to find out. Okay. So which are the rest of the words? We will get it here. Malicious, accustomed, principal, embezzlement, temporary, evidence, architect, behavior, thoroughbred, misfortune, neighbors, documents. Okay. So there you will get the syllables. So what you should have to find out? The vowel sound. So when you see that there are some vowel sound are present here, so it counts as a 1 and 2. Okay. So you just split the words. Where you get that? There is implore. E has there, then plore. O. So you try to stress the words which is the vowel sound. So there you will get to find out easily. So how many syllables are present in each word. Okay. So this is. So next I will move to the next main. Next main, look up the following phrases in a dictionary to find out their meaning and then use each in a sentence of your own. Okay, so here there is a phrase. Okay, so here there are some phrase words. So what is this? You may take take it that. You may take it that. So what is the meaning of this? With the help of the dictionary, you should have to try to find out the meaning. The person you have, so one I will tell you here, the person who you are talking to know something or you will do something, okay? The person who you are talking, they are doing something or you are doing something, okay? That is called you may take it that. Okay, so this is. Next is you seems to be coming round. So the next one is you seems to be coming round, and then another one is my food's gone to sleep. You know, when Lumov always says when he was get nervous, when he was excited, okay, so he used this sentence again and again. So it is a phrase, okay. So what the meaning of this phrase? So with the help of the dictionary, find out the meaning of this phrase, okay. So now it's about reported speech. Okay, it's very important for you and your for exam purpose also. Reported speech. Okay, so here let's look the reported speech. So what is the reported speech? Okay. So reported speech, it consists of two parts, okay. So the reported speech, it is consists of two parts. What are its? Reporting clause, which contains reporting verb and reported clause, okay. So it is contents of two parts, okay. Two parts, that is reporting clause, it is reporting verb, it contains reporting verb and reporting clause. It's a reported clause, okay. So reported speech which it consists of two parts, okay. So reported speech which consists of two parts, that is reporting verb and reported clause. So this is here I'll give you the example of here is I went to visit my grandma last week, said Mamta, okay. So let's look over the sentence. I went to visit my grandma. I went to visit my grandma last week, said Mamta, not by, it's a said Mamta. Okay, so this is the sentence here. Okay, so if you want to make it as a reported speech or indirect speech, so how the sentence should be. So let's see here. So before I am going to do that, let's see about the sentence. Here we have the Mamta's exact words, okay. So what the words it has written here, it was directly said by Mamta, okay. So these words are exactly what Mamta has said, okay. That is, I went to visit my grandma last week, said Mamta, okay. This is the exact word. So this is called as a direct speech. So it is a direct speech. So next is, if I wanted to make it is change into indirect speech, what would be the sentence? Let's see here. Mamta said that she had gone, okay. So she had gone, went is changed into gone, to visit her grandma. Mamta said that she had gone to visit her grandma last week. Last week it becomes previous week. The previous week. It changed into previous week, okay? So say this becomes indirect speech. So this sentence become indirect speech. So let's see what are the things we have changed here in this sentence when we are making indirect speech. Okay, so the first is said Mamta, it comes at last. Is it indirect speech? So here when we begin this in indirect sentences, so Mamta said that. What we should add here? That. Okay, and then I is changed into she. Okay, so this is also changed. I is changed into she. And now went, it is written in a past tense. Okay, simple past tense, and then it's changed into past perfect tense. Okay, had gone to visit my change into her. Okay, this my is changed into her grandma, and the last week it changes into previous week. The last week it changes into previous week, like this. Okay, like this we will change the direct sentences into indirect sentences, and this indirect sentence is called as a reported speech. Okay, so this is about, and let's see that which of the rules are present here in English grammar when we are changing direct speech into indirect speech. Okay, okay, so now I'll give one of the figure for you. So how the two people, they are in conversation. Okay, that is Raj and Rahul. Raj and Rahul, they both are talking. Okay, so they both are in a conversation. So what they are conversing? So Raj is saying that I play cricket every day. Okay, so I play cricket. So it is said directly to Rahul. The Raj said directly to Rahul. So it becomes like this. The sentence, it becomes like this. I play cricket every day. So it becomes a direct speech. Okay. Okay, now it becomes direct speech. Direct speech. Now Rahul is going to report to another, some of the group, means nearly more than one, means some of the people. Otherwise they are the friends or classmates, whoever they are. So Rahul is going to report to this group. So what? About Raj. Okay. So now Raj said directly, but not Rahul says directly. He is not saying the exact words of Raj. He has to change the words. Okay. So how? So let's see that. Okay. Now he has to report it to the group. Okay, to his friends. How he is going to say here? He said that. Rahul said. I will take it this. The name. Rahul said that. He, so who? That is Raj. He played cricket every day. Okay? He played cricket every day. So he says about Raj. So when he was reporting to the group, so it is changed, indirect speech. It changes into indirect speech. So here what we should add here, Rahul said, and that. Okay, and then play is changed into the past tense. When someone is reporting about some incidents or some of the person's story, so it is changed into the past tense. It is not in a present tense. Okay, it is changed into past tense. Okay, so this is about the basic thing about how we change the reported speech. Okay, so now I am going to do that the rules of reported speech, is it? Okay, so but I am going to continue this in next class, the rules of reported speech. Okay, because if you work on more and more on this, you are going to learn more about grammar. Okay, so it's better to stop this class today now, and I will continue it on tomorrow. Okay, about the rules of reported speech. Okay, so all of you practice it, whatever the grammars we have covered and we have done today, practice that, and we will meet you in the next class. Till then, all of you stay home, keep learning. Thank you.